So here we have an example of a business transaction which uses the accounting equation A equals L plus E, which is assets equals to liabilities and equity. So starting off, so on the first day, it says that Shannon Services made an initial investment of 189,000 pesos cash and equipment worth 75,000 pesos. As seen here, you can see that in our assets, we put cash, which is an increase, which is 189,000, and equipment, which is also an increase, costing to 75,000 pesos. To make it balanced, we put on the equity side the sum of these two account titles, which is the capital. So 189,000 plus 75,000 equals to 264,000 pesos, which sums up to the capital of the company. Following the next transaction, which is bought chairs and tables from Okura Furniture worth 189,000 pesos, but only paid 60% of the total amount. Since Shannon Services did not pay Okura Furniture in cash, rather in credit, the account titles you'll be using are the following. So for day 3, you would see that there is a decrease in cash since the company used their money to pay for the furniture. In addition, there's also an addition in assets, which is the account title equipment, therefore 189,000 pesos. For the liabilities, you would see that the company would still have to pay the remaining amount in due time, therefore they would log in the account as a liability under the account title accounts payable with the amount 75,600. The next transaction would be purchase service equipment from Lolo Nya on credit, 28,000. Again, the company has not paid Lolo Nya in cash, rather on credit. Therefore, you'll be using the same account titles, equipment, and accounts payable. For equipment, it would be considered an increase since it would be an increase to your assets and property. Meanwhile, you would have to pay 28,000 to Lolo Nya on credit. Therefore, you would log it in under liabilities with the account title accounts payable with the amount 28,000 pesos. The next transaction, which is on day 5, which states received 15,750 pesos for service rendered at various events. Now, in the table, you would see that the account titles used are the following. One would be cash, since you were able to get sales or rather service income. This would be an increase in the assets. Meanwhile, there is also an increase in the service income since Shannon Services was able to provide service for their client. Therefore, they would log it in under equity with the account title service income. The second transaction made on day 7 states that Shannon Services billed King 28,000 pesos for the catering service, yet Mr. King only paid 50% of the amount. Since he did not pay in full, we would only have to take a fraction of the overall bill made to Mr. King, which is half of 28,000, which is of course 14,000 pesos. So, as seen in the table below, account receivable would be an increase since we were able to get half of the amount that Mr. King was billed, which is 14,000 pesos. At the same time, we also logged in under equity the account title service income, which is an increase leading to 14,000 pesos as well. Following day 7 is day 8 transaction, which states Shannon Services paid 16,000 pesos for food used at Jim's party. So since that it is said that the service has paid another business or company, then it implies that there is a decrease in cash, as seen in the assets, with account title cash and a decrease in 16,000 pesos. In addition, to make it balanced, you would also have to put in under equity the account title service expense, with an increase costing to 16,000 pesos. Day 10's transaction states that Shannon Services paid 50% of the remaining balance due to Okura Furniture. This is in reference to the transaction made by the company on day 3 which states that they bought chairs and tables from a courier furniture worth 189,000 pesos, but paid 60% only. So, as day 3 states, accounts payable would be leading up to 75,600. But on day 10, channel services paid 50% of that, which is in total, which is right here, accounts payable 37,800 pesos. It is considered a decrease since it is a decrease to how much channel services owes a courier furniture. In addition, you would also add under the account assets with the account title cash, since the company has brought out 37,800 pesos from their money to pay the remaining balance due to a courier furniture. Now to check if it is balanced and to see whether the liabilities and the equity is equal to the assets, you would have to add all the numbers together. Starting off with assets, get all the positives first: 189,000 pesos, 75,000 pesos, 189,000 pesos, 28,000 pesos, 15,750 pesos, and 14,000 pesos. Following that is the negatives. So we see 113,400 pesos, 7,500 pesos, 16,000 pesos, and 37,800 pesos. Once all that's done, simply subtract the negative from the positive and it would lead you to the total assets. In here, the total assets is equal to 336,050 pesos. Following that, you would do the same thing to the liabilities and the equity. So for the liabilities, you would add all the positives: 75,600, 28,000, and 20,500. Subtract 37,800 from the sum of these, and it will give you 86,300 pesos. Same goes for equity. Since there are no negatives, you would simply have to add all the positives together: 264,000, 15,750, 14,000, and 16,000, which in total gives you 309,750. Once all is done, simply add the two together. 86,300 plus 309,750 is indeed equal to 336,050 pesos. Therefore, the accounting table is correct and is in balance.